Today we have a spectacular round of random facts that will blow your mind. As of 2025, LEGO has made over 1.1 trillion bricks, around 140 for every person alive. They still pump out roughly 40 billion new pieces every year. The Tesla Roadster is actually the fourth car ever launched into space. Right now, it's orbiting the sun, and yes, you can even track it. The other three, those were lunar roving vehicles driven around on the moon. I guess we can call them cars, right? Voyager 1 is our closest thing to a time machine. Thanks to Einstein's relativity, its high speed makes time tick a little slower on board. After decades in space, it's about 1.1 seconds in the future, compared to us on Earth. As of 2025, Sudan is projected to have one of the world's highest unemployment rates, around 62% of its labor force. That makes it the highest among all countries in the forecast. Calcium in brewing water might seem like a small detail, but it's a game changer. It keeps the mash pH just right for enzyme action, clears out proteins for crystal clear beer, and helps yeast settle, making your brew smoother and tastier. That's why famous beer regions often have naturally hard calcium-rich water. The Shenzhen Nanki orchid once fetched $200,000 at auction, making it one of the priciest blooms on the planet. This wasn't just any flower, though. It's not a naturally occurring flower. It was completely man-made, developed by agricultural scientists over 8 years of meticulous research. The Twinings T logo, first designed way back in 1787, proudly holds the title of the world's oldest commercial logo, still in continuous, largely unaltered use. While scientists initially aimed to honor Wilhelm Röntgen by naming his groundbreaking discovery Röntgen rays, it was his modest, temporary label X-rays, signifying the unknown, that truly stuck. This accidental popularity, coupled with the immense impact of his find, earned Röntgen the very first Nobel Prize in physics. The first statin medication for lowering cholesterol, lovastatin, wasn't synthesized in a lab from scratch. Instead, it was discovered as a natural compound produced by the soil-dwelling fungus Aspergillus terreus. This groundbreaking finding paved the way for an entirely new class of drugs that have revolutionized cardiovascular health. What's even more intriguing is that this very same beneficial compound is also naturally present in common edible fungi like oyster mushrooms. It's a little-known fact that cheetahs aren't exclusively African. The critically endangered Asiatic cheetah, a distinct subspecies, now clings to survival solely in the vast arid landscapes of Iran, a somber echo of its once widespread Asian range. Ibuprofen's name is just a clever shortcut for its real chemical mouthful, isobutyl propanoic phenylpropionic acid. Ibu for isobutyl, pro for propanoic, and phen for phenyl. Its science turned into a brandable name. The heaviside layer, an electrically charged region high in Earth's atmosphere, acts like a giant mirror for radio waves. AM signals, in particular, bounce off it and can travel far beyond the horizon, especially at night. Female elephants have a very unusual reproductive cycle compared to most mammals. They experience 2 luteinizing hormone surges during each estrus cycle, but only the second surge leads to ovulation. The first LH surge is thought to signal males that the female will soon be fertile, while the second surge is the true trigger for releasing an egg. This unique system might have evolved to synchronize mating behavior with the female's peak fertility. In the complex world of the music industry, the average musician sees a surprisingly small slice of the pie. For every $1,000 of recorded music sold, artists often receive a mere fraction, historically cited around $23.40, after record labels, distributors, and other intermediaries take their substantial cuts. Pablo Picasso's full name is a legendary tongue twister: Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Crispín Crispiniano María Remedios de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz Picasso. Arabidopsis, scientifically known as Arabidopsis thaliana, might look like just a tiny weed, but in the world of science, it's a superstar. Its small size, fast life cycle, and perfectly mapped genome have made it the ultimate model plant. Researchers use it to crack the big questions: how plants grow, adapt, and survive in changing environments. Bonus fact, Arabidopsis was the very first plant to have its entire genome sequenced, way back in 2000. That single achievement opened the door for sequencing crops and other plants, completely transforming plant genetics. Apollo 15's command module pilot, Al Worden, holds the record for being the most isolated human ever. While his crewmates explored the lunar surface, Worden orbited alone, reaching a maximum distance of 2,235 miles from them. When his craft swung to the far side of the moon, he was truly on his own, cut off from all communication with both Earth and his fellow astronauts. Most placental mammals go through cyclical changes in their uterine lining, but actual bleeding, what's called overt menstruation, is surprisingly rare. It mainly happens in humans, some primates, certain bats, elephant shrews, and even one unusual species of spiny mouse. Almost every other mammal, including dogs, simply reabsorbs the uterine lining if pregnancy doesn't occur. That's called covert or true menstruation. So when you see a female dog bleeding during her heat cycle, it's not menstruation like ours. It happens in the proestrus stage of her estrus cycle, when rising estrogen makes the blood vessels in the uterus and vaginal walls more permeable. That's what causes the bloody discharge. Animal bodies might look wildly different, but they all share an ancient secret, a genetic toolkit that's been passed down for hundreds of millions of years. One of the stars of this toolkit, the famous Hox genes. Think of them as master switches. They decide where a head goes, where limbs will grow, and basically sketch out the entire body plan during development. The real magic isn't in the genes themselves, it's in how they're used. Tiny changes in when and where these genes switch on are what give us the endless variety of shapes and forms across the animal kingdom. Here's a cool botanical anomaly. Larch trees are conifers, like pines and spruces, but they defy the evergreen stereotype. Come autumn, their typically soft green needles transform into a dazzling display of gold before dropping completely, only to regrow fresh and vibrant in the spring. They're basically the deciduous rebels of the conifer world. The B vitamins aren't a single family at all. They're a random bunch of unrelated compounds. They only got lumped together because they're found in the same foods and help prevent deficiency diseases. Bolivia got its name in honor of Simón Bolívar, the legendary revolutionary who helped free much of South America from Spanish rule. The term hermaphrodite actually has its roots in Greek mythology, stemming from the tale of Hermaphroditus, the son of Hermes and Aphrodite. Originally a strikingly handsome boy, he was tragically fused into one being with the nymph Salmatis, resulting in an individual possessing both male and female physical attributes. Australia has the largest resource of uranium in the world at 31%. At around 12% of the world's annual production, they are the world's third largest producer behind Kazakhstan and Canada. The Ottoman Empire dissolved only after World War I. While Kepler's supernova, observed on October 9, 1604, was the last supernova visible to the naked eye within our own Milky Way galaxy, it wasn't the last visible supernova overall. That distinction goes to supernova 1987A, which exploded in the Large Magellanic Cloud in February 1987 and was clearly visible to the naked eye for observers in the southern hemisphere. It might surprise you, but an incredible 4 out of the 5 longest bridges in the United States are found in Louisiana. Trans fats, often considered the most detrimental to our health, are surprisingly similar to their healthier counterparts. The key difference lies purely in their molecular shape. Take oleic acid, abundant in olive oil and other vegetable oils, which is chemically identical to the trans fat ellatic acid. Yet a subtle twist in oleic acid's structure makes it far more beneficial for consumption. The didgeridoo is a powerful symbol of Aboriginal culture, but the name itself, that's probably a Western invention, an onomatopoeia from early settlers copying its drone. Aboriginal people use many different names depending on their language and region. Though solar panels feel like a thoroughly modern innovation, Our ability to generate electricity directly from light stretches back surprisingly far. In fact, an American engineer named Charles Fritz described a selenium-based photocell way back in 1883, proving the concept was viable over a century ago. While most pure metals gleam with a silvery sheen, gold and copper stand out with their distinctive hues. This striking difference isn't arbitrary. It's a consequence of intricate relativistic quantum effects. These subtle shifts in electron energy levels allow gold and copper to preferentially absorb the blue end of the white light spectrum, leaving us with their characteristic yellow and reddish appearances. Each season on Uranus really does stretch for about 21 Earth years. This incredibly long seasonal cycle is all thanks to Uranus's unique and extreme axial tilt. Unlike most other planets, Uranus orbits the Sun almost entirely on its side, tilted at a whopping 98 degrees. This bizarre orientation means that as it travels around the Sun, its poles experience incredibly long periods of continuous sunlight or darkness. Since a Uranian year lasts roughly 84 Earth years, dividing that by its 4 seasons gives us that 21-year stretch for each one. Rubies and sapphires, they're actually the same mineral, corundum. The difference is in tiny trace elements. Chromium gives rubies their fiery red, while sapphires get their blues, yellows, and pinks from iron and titanium. Bonus fact, the word sapphire comes from the Greek saphiros, meaning blue stone, but sapphires come in nearly every color except red. Often mistaken for the real thing, fool's gold is actually iron pyrite, a chemical compound of iron disulfide that bears a striking resemblance to actual gold right out of the mine. Detergents are typically amphiphilic substances, meaning their unique molecules are drawn to both water and fats. This dual attraction is exactly what allows them, when dissolved in water, to effectively lift and carry away stubborn, greasy grime from surfaces. That dry, puckering sensation in a robust red wine or strong cup of tea, that's tannin at work. This natural compound, which gives these drinks their distinctive astringency, actually gets its name from the bark of oak trees. Historically, a key ingredient for tanning leather, the tannins would bind to proteins in the hide, making it more durable and resistant to decay. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like. It really helps the channel. Got something to say or a thought to share? Comment below. I read every single one. Want more content like this? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay curious.